Alright, so today we're going to be doing the UR tier list for My Hero Ultra Impact for March 2022. Now, I am recording this a little bit earlier than the end of March, and I do know that UR Sun Eater is just around the corner, but I wanted to make this tier list because I really wanted to fix this tier list, and I think it's a good time to do it now, and then it'll give me some time to try out, or at least have some opinions on the UR Sun Eater instead of just first impressions. So I think this is the most responsible thing to do, and the main reason why I want to do this is to fix up what I have already ranked up, to be honest, because I feel like I've, caught up with Ultra Impact meta, where, I understand the game now like I used to back in the day, so let's just jump straight into it. First off, by refixing it, and then at the end, I will rank the Todoroki and Darby. So let's move the bottom units first, where I think they should go. I think All Might, I think he's a D tier character. He's very good at the start, but he just loses so much at the end that it's not even worth it. When content on Ultra Impact is mostly 6 turns plus, especially in USJ where it's 10 turns plus, this guy's not that great. It's cool in some things just clearing out content, it's fine. But if you're trying to do the most in VE Tower, in points, not going to be helpful. There are so many better damaging options in PvP that he just sits at the bottom anyway. It's they're not bad. Yellow Deck is technically not bad. It's just that there's so many better options. Somebody has to go into the D tier. I think the 2 Dekus can stay here. Tokiyami can stay here. I've versed some Tokiyamis before, and I don't think his double tap is just that great yet. Unless I need to use him and then at least give him EX skills that will increase his normal attacks. That's the only reason why he could probably be B tier. But for now, from what I've seen, C tier. Hawks though, I have used him now. He's definitely at least high B. He could be breaching low A. But the only reason why is because I don't use him in VE Tower. I don't think he's useful in VE Tower. He doesn't have, I don't think, good enough technical hits. He can get some skill chains off. But because it's turn 3 cooldown, it's very awkward for him sometimes. And then he's just good in PvP. B tier is usually what I consider let's name it. Bad at one thing, good at another. I think that's what we're going to call the B tier. Bad at one thing, good at another. So he's good in PvP, but bad in VE Tower. Just my opinion right there. Obviously, if you're trying to just clear VE Tower, that makes sense. He's going to be AS, but I'm considering points and stuff like that. If you're trying to be ranked number 1 in VE Tower, this Hawks is not the card you want to be bringing. Alright, so now onto the purple Bakugo. I definitely want to change this guy up into at least low S. I think he's very good in PvP. He's one of the best characters to bring, as he can triple lower defense. He's got enough technical hits to at least give you some good points in VE Tower. May not be the best option, but it is still very solid. 4-turn cooldown is definitely good enough for his skill, and then also the plus ultras is going to help you out as well. So I think he deserves at least to be under low S, and he can increase his speed. I think for the most part, he's definitely that really godly PvP units to have on your team. In PvP though, because he doesn't have a proper tank, he can die pretty quickly. I will say that. He's pretty fragile from what I've versed. So yeah, you do need to invest into him in terms of EX auto skills and stuff like that. Next up, we have the Toga. I think Toga is the low A version of Toga. And then I'm going to putting the Toga into B tier. I think now I realize the value of Green Toga, and that is that she has 2 damaging skills. I think that's going to be super important, and I think Toga's plus Ultra Gauge increase is not that important right now. So when it comes to PvP, the Green Toga is going to be a little bit better than the Blue Toga. Blue Toga can be very useful in VE Tower. So she's good at VE Tower, but bad at VE Tower. At least this Toga is somewhat good in VE Tower, and then just decent at PvP. So that's why I think the Blue Toga is worse than the Green Toga now. Before, I was pretty blinded by VE Tower, just the amount of points you get. But I wouldn't even consider running any of these anyway, so that's just my opinion. Let's move Kaminari back down to D tier. Honestly, though, I could put him in C tier. right? But we'll put him in D. You know what? I'm putting him in C. I don't want to disrespect him that badly because he actually, if you can like plus Ultra at the right time, he can actually do a lot of damage. If you just gotta bring Nejiri, that's it. Like bring Nejiri, and then this Kaminari can actually do some good stuff. Okay, it's just that everybody's blind about taking damage and paralyzed. But if you get the paralyzed on the opponent, like, it is actually absurd that how annoying he could actually be. And in VE Tower, like, he's actually really good for that. And he gives you the extra points if you're doing the Endeavor stage. So, I'll give him C. Don't want to disrespect him that hard. I think he's got his usages. Then the Shinso. Shinso is definitely high A. Breaching S. I think the only thing he lacks is the usefulness in Ultra Arena PvP. So that's just about it. He's good at like 1v1s though. Like, well, I guess 3v1s. Like the confuse, the bind, the lowering defense, like all of that is so good when you're versing like a boss. But in 3v3s, Ultra Arena, you can definitely pick some other better characters. And for right now, I don't have an opinion on the yellow Bakugo at the moment. I think just on paper, he's good enough to be on B tier. I think he can stay there just because, like, you know, he has at least some capability of being in Ultra Arena as his own speed increases. It's a little lackluster because there's a lot of speed debuffing in PvP now, but for the most part, he is decent enough to be in B tier. And then Froppy can stay in the B tier as she's very good for VE Tower. All right, let's go to the A tier now. I think we move Overhaul into S. He's the best villain. He's lower power. It's a little slow, but that's fine. Lowest power, fear, and good plus ultra, and the heal back is very nice. We move the Deku down to the C tier. I think he's worse than Red Deku after using him. There is a reason. He's good at like boss fights, but like in Ultra Arena on like multiple hit enemies, he's Last Stand is not that great right now. I think you need just like Green's missing something. That's what it is. Green is definitely missing something. So I think he's going to be like one of the worst Dekus at the moment. I hate to say, because I actually had like he looked very promising, right? His auto skills, like looking back at when I showcased him, his auto skills don't even apply until he has you know, lower than 50% HP, and in like VE Tower, you might not even get there. In Ultra Arena, you don't want that to happen. You want to get a character that can activate all their auto skills, as long as they're useful, of course, straight off the turn start, because there's no guarantee that your character even survives for even 3 turns, unless you have somebody that can heal or a tank for you. So, yeah, that's just what it comes down to, and I don't think he can stack enough Last Stands to really like counteract like an AoE Fire Flame attack or something like that. We move the Purple Todoroki down a tier. Todoroki, he's okay. He's just not that great. He's definitely better than these 3 because he has his utility factor. But other than that, like, he's probably pretty lackluster for a Todoroki. Now, if I was truly ordering the Hawks, would be like up here. Ochako can stay. Bakugo can probably go into the B tier. I know he's really good in PvP. Don't get me wrong, but that's what B is. Bad at one thing, good at another. He's just not that good in VE Tower. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. And then everybody else can stay here. I think that is respectable. A lot of people are discussing, well, back in the day, I guess, Nejiri versus Ochako. I think Nejiri is better, and there's obviously like statistic proof for that. I'm friends with the #1 player in Ultra Arena. He uses Nejiri. He gets perfects all the time. He just dominates Ultra Arena. It's just because she keeps your characters alive. She keeps herself alive with Last Stand. She has multiple healing factors. You're going to get pretty much a higher perfect rate on keeping all your characters alive. She has lower cooldowns on her healing ability and her lowering of power. If you look at Ochako, she has a 5 and 7 turn cooldown, which is ridiculously high. She becomes a sitting duck. VE Tower, she's very meh. You don't even use her in VE Tower because she doesn't apply anything other than just power, right? which you don't really need that in VE Tower. You'd rather have somebody that has more skill chains, more technical hits, and gives you more points because you want obviously higher gems. Ochako just doesn't prove that to me. She's good if you are, like, if she was in the last spot, she has the counter, she can definitely clutch it up. Like, don't get me wrong, her counters can clutch it up, her heals can, like, be very annoying, and, like, if you use it properly, obviously, you can, like, avoid plus ultras, avoid skill attacks and everything like that, which keeps her an A. She's, like, above average in, like, she should be B, like, bad at one thing, good at another, but, like, she does something. She's good in USJ, she's good at, in Ultra Arena as a support slot. I would not recommend you use a Chuck. If you use a Chuck in the main lineup, please stop. Like, you are losing so much value just putting her in the main lineup. If she's your only healer, fine, I guess. But at that point, I'd rather just swap out for somebody that can just do more skill chains and everything like that. Because that's just going to get you more, like, damage output, more potential to get perfects, everything like that. Then we will move the Endeavor to A. I think after, you know, witnessing Ultra Arena at the highest of tiers, I think Endeavor is just a little bit lackluster for Ultra Arena. PvP is good. I think Burn is the problem. Burn is the problem. Because Burn versus bosses is really good. Because the bosses have like 300,000 HP, so 5% of that is like 15,000 damage or whatever. And then, you know, some bosses have more than that. So it's just a lot of damage. But like when it comes to like versing actual characters, they have like 20,000 HP, which is like equivalent to like 1,000 damage, which is absolutely nothing when it comes to Burn. And because it lasts for 3 turns, it doesn't give you an advantage. And then you have people that can cancel status ailments. Like Endeavor's perfect counter is Momo. And then the heal back just nullifies all the burn anyway from all you've done. So it's not that great. The only factor is that he can lower speed, which is good. And then he's good at VE Tower because burn is actually really good. And lowering speed is actually a technical hit and stuff like that. So Endeavor's really good in VE Tower, just not the greatest in PvP. But if you have no other options, he can be a very good option to get that speed advantage if you can lower the speed and keep him alive. That's about it. Okay, so now the Blue Deku. I think if there was... I don't know where to put Blue Deku because he's good at VE Tower because he has technical hits. And then he's good at Ultra Arena because he can lower speed and stuff like that. I think I will put him at the top A. I think there is still more things that I would have asked him to do, like status ailments, stuff like that, which would obviously make him good in VE Tower. The problem is that, obviously, he doesn't have Auto Skill 2 until he's below 50% HP, and unless you're versing a lot of green units, you're probably not going to get underneath 50% HP until, like, turn at least 3 or something like that, because the CPU always targets type advantage for the most part, so it can be kind of iffy, and with the healing meta being a thing, it's going to be harder for you to be underneath 50% HP for Ultra Arena on, like, turn 1s and 2s. But sub-unit is very clutch because the dodge comes in handy, giving him survivability, and then he'll increase his own speed and hopefully outspeed some of your enemies, and he can also lower the enemy's speed. So he has some usages. He's got technical hits down pat. It's just that I don't think he's the perfect unit for everything. I do want to say Red Kirishima is better than Blue Kirishima still. I know a lot of people do believe in the Blue Kirishima. I think for the most part and just generally everything, Red Kirishima is better than Blue Kirishima just because you can stack up a lot of damage reduction and that's going to help you with multiple hits instead of just like 2 hits. Plus Ultra counters, you know, Blue Kirishima's got that down pat, but you can get like EX skills that give you damage reduction plus ultras and skill damage, and then with stacked up on your own damage reduction makes them just a lot better. But with that said, I think that is pretty much it for the tier list on the rework. I think I'm pretty happy with this at the moment. I might change it in the future, obviously, once I like get to use the other characters. But pretty happy with this so far. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. But let's work out where the Todoroki and Darby goes. So I've used Todoroki. I've got him to level 90. I've maxed out his ability board 9. I can safely say he is an A tier unit. He wouldn't be S tier because he's a little bit weak at the start. I wish he had a little bit more damage output, but his utility is great. Frostbite is very underrated. The fact that you can almost, Yeah, obviously it's bound by RNG. You can counter Aizawa with Frostbite, because if you can Frostbite him, he can't seal you. You can counter Blue Bakugo, and then his burn, obviously, extra little bit damage, although it's not that important. Lowers defense. He gets his, cooldowns returned back in PvP, which has come in very clutch for me, especially if you have lower cooldown teammates, and then they have their skill back, and then your skill back is because you were dropped underneath 50% HP, stuff like that. So I think he is good for PvP. And he, of course, remember, he can lower speed of everyone, which is like huge. Because you can lower triple characters, as long as they don't counter, of course, like Momo, keeping the status ailments available. Like Momo, avoiding one debuff, or like Blue Hawks or something like that. You pretty much outspeed like 95% of the time, depending on, obviously, who you're versing, who your enemy's characters' BPs are, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say perfect, but he is very solid. And in VE Tower, he does give you status ailments, just that there's not many technical hits on him. So he's not that perfect in VE Tower, but he does get you some points. And then Darby, I haven't used Darby. I haven't pulled him, unfortunately. I don't think I will be able to pull him by the time his banner disappears. So unfortunate. I felt like after reading it and how like other people have used him, I don't think he's too spectacular. In PvP, again, like I said, burn is just not that great, but because he has Hellfire, as long as you can proc Hellfire, it is some decent damage output. Because he's destruction as well, he can be a little bit fragile because he just doesn't have a type that he can tank. And of course, there's obviously counters, a lot more counters than like the Todoroki per se, compared to, because of the yellow Todoroki counters burns, blue Todoroki, I believe, counters burns. And Momo, obviously, avoids status ailments, as well as the Blue Hawks as well. There's a lot of people that can just, like, cancel out his burns, which makes him just a little bit... Like, if he cannot burn, it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. So I'm going to be putting him... Because he's, like, he can burn, and he can be good at VE Tower, he's definitely an AT unit. I would say he's, like, at the bottom-ish. So that's just where I will put him for now, until I actually use them. So yeah, let me just reorder this a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, that is pretty much my tier list for March of 2022. I don't know if I should like have extra tiers. Maybe in the future I will, for like specific, like good at VE Tower, good at PvP or something like that. Let me know in the comment section down below if I should make the tier list a bit more clearer of why they're good or why they're an A or something like that. But for the most part, I think it is very understandable as to what, especially in the B tier, bad at one thing, good at another. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Pretty happy with this. So if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on. Check out my social medias linked in the description. That said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay fizzy. Peace out.